Hello and welcome everybody, I am One Proper Varian, and right in front of us here we have our city. We are only at the outskirts here, and we don't in this very particular episode here actually need to move in any further. We are effectively done with this village, well, with this town, and we won't really change that much about it. Now comes the time where we progress, where we move into different regions, and we give them a very special character as well. Eventually, we are going to end up in this vicinity again. What you can see here, across the stream that we have here, of course, built our buildings at, that is in a different region, and once we claim that region, I already actually have a really great plan, at least I think it's gonna sound like a great plan, how we can build this here. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But that is not something for this particular episode. Today, we have just won the battle for Waldbrand, and today we shall expand. I will be claiming more and more regions, or well, actually, I won't even be claiming any more regions, I will just start settling them. We are in a good spot when it comes to Sitte. You can see we have 3 spots as well. Let me just bring these folks home here so that I can go from there. Boom, there you go. And in Sitte, I asked you, hey, what should we do with our points here? Where should we take it? And a lot of you actually had great ideas. Now, let me show you what we're gonna do here before we move on to a new region. I really like Heavy Plow. I really like Bakery because the communal oven can't really keep up with what we're doing here. If I just take, maybe 3 or 4 level 3 houses and turn them into bakeries, all of a sudden we will be in a position where we can probably actually keep up with the flour that we are producing. And then, last but not least, I was thinking about, fertilization, about sheep breeding. I was even thinking about forest management, but honestly, this is reserved for a different region. Instead, I will be going with orchardry. The idea here is that, well, we want some uniqueness, we want some beautiful backyards, and I think having at least some apples being grown in our region here is the way to go. So, what we're going to do now is I will just, select a couple of these buildings, I will make sure that they are level 3, and then I will indeed turn them into bakeries. I want a couple of bakeries here, just so that we can actually work with that, right? You know what, let's actually do 3 bakeries, sure. Let's see whether that is too much, whether it's not enough. Currently we don't have any flour, but as September comes around, I mean, look at that. We are going to be harvesting a lot of wheat. As you can see right here, we have now turned this region that we have named after Zittau, a town in southeastern Saxony that lies directly at the border of Germany, Poland, and indeed Czechia as well, that has a huge shared history. We have named it after that because that had a pretty similar upbringing there. And oh my god, look at that. Maybe I need more berry deposit usage here. Look at that. We can get some berries out of that, and I will of course be doing this. I won't be changing this all too much going forward, like I said, just, to make that clear. I like basically finishing what we have before I move on so that I don't constantly need to, snap back there. So the goal here now is that I will just amass the money that I need to found a new village, and then we shall go on a new adventure. Now, what I would also like to do here, though, this is one of our side village. This is the Straßendorf that mostly deals in flax. I would like to give these folks right here, yeah, let's give these the apple orchards, just so that we are in a position where hopefully we're going to be producing enough. I assume, and I'm not actually set on this, so I don't properly know about this, but I assume that the length of the backyard, very similar to the vegetable garden, also determines just how many apples you get out of them. And from that context, I mean, this is clearly not a very long backyard. I'm still going to put it down there. We're going to see just how much we get out of this, I think, in 3 years' time, right? That is, yeah, there you go. Until the trees are fully grown, which takes around 3 years, the orchards produce only a fraction of the yields. By the way, I don't know whether it's orchard or orchard, so I'm gonna just use both terms to make everybody as angry as possible. Now, on top of that, I am also going to go ahead and place down a couple more farmhouse buildings. I think we will never catch up with, what we actually need here to retain every single field that we have in this region. It is just too many. Or rather, the AI kind of just doesn't function all that well. And you know what? Let's place you very nearby. I want to see what that looks like. I actually tested this save game on the beta. There is a beta right now that is going on where you can test a couple of fixes, a couple of different features, such as, for example, the trade mechanic was actually revamped there quite a bit different. There's also a king's tax there, and I'm not playing on that, even though this save is compatible. I did try that out. I'm not playing on that only because, well, we haven't built this with, for example, the king's tax in mind. I would essentially just go bankrupt the entire time, so you know what, let's not do that. What I do want to point out, though, is that the fields that we have here are effectively covered by our farmhouses. I think we need like 2 or 3 more farmhouses, and that is it. However, in this version of the game, our farmers, whenever somebody starts harvesting a field and leaves some of the crops behind, which they do, everybody on this entire tile will run to this exact field. That is why we can't actually ever harvest the exact amount of wheat here. The expected 1k will never make it to us. They will just go bad come October. But I've noticed in the beta that is fixed. Now, if we ever actually go and, you know, make a lot of money or just have infinite money lying around, I may very well switch to the beta version just so that we can actually behold the glory of our farms actually harvesting everything there is. You know, because without it, it will feel a bit sad. Anyway, the last thing that I really want to do here is I will be upgrading the farmhouses here to use oxen. All of them. Every last one. I want an oxen involved. In the beta, you can actually have 2 oxen. Oh my god, you can have 2 oxen per farmhouse. It is incredible. There are some real strategies that you can start there. For the time being, I will be happy with just 1 ox per farmhouse, so that we can harvest and, you know, sow and all that stuff, plow as efficiently as possible. Oh, and you know, now that I'm looking at this, what are we gonna do with this space? This is where the old manor was. Long term, we could even have the manor extended to here. You see, the problem really just is, and this is, again, working as designed. I'm abusing the system here, but if I place a manor building all the way up there, the entire space between this manor and over there becomes uninteractable again, which, if I've built everything that I want to build, is essentially fine. But I'm not sure that I want to risk this. We could put a tavern there. Somebody pointed this out, that very often where there used to be a manor, that could then be taken over later by the community as a tavern. Honestly, I like the thought there. But is there maybe something else? We could definitely do some storage area. We could do another market here. We do have a market right there. And we had this in the past, that this kind of was very central as well. You know what? I like the idea. Do we have a... I like the idea that maybe we do a pairing here. We do another secondary market, and maybe some kind of storage of maybe just food. The idea here being that this isn't exactly the center anymore, but it isn't very isolated, and, well, we may very well need some more, you know, solutions here for marketplaces anyway. This village here has never developed past what we have right here. I will never put a building in here that is level 3. And look at that, by the way. Yeah, all of them are just streaming in here. I'm going to check that out in a second. But this village is still important, right? There's still trade going on here. There are important things being deliberated in this area. Even though, again, the power and focus of this region has indeed drifted into the town down here. Yeah, look at that. We didn't harvest all that much, but we got lucky here, I think. What we did harvest a lot of is actually the wheat, so that should make it so that it will be at least a little bit easier for us to, you know, not starve. That would be quite nice if that didn't happen, right? I like survival. It's one of my hobbies, really. Alright folks, it is March, and that means we shall be settling Zweier. Now, Zweier is not going to be nearly as densely settled as what we have in our home region. This will be a very, very important region, as this means that we will have a mining town. And this mining town should be pretty interesting. I mean, if you take a look at this, right, we have this King's Road right here, and the safety of this King's Road is incredibly important to us, because this is literally how we survive. We sell a lot of our wares, and we import a lot of our wares that we need here. So the way we will construct this village right here will be in the vein of an old mining town. Again, of course, it's a bit weird because we're not in the mountains, and those would be very much adjacent to the mountains, you know, if they do have the shot. And then other than that, I want at least a light fortification roughly here, so that we can patrol, secure, and indeed protect this King's Road and this very, very important crossing. Because that crossing, of course, goes into Waldbrand and is our connection to what I will also turn into a very, very interesting region. Although that will be in a future episode rather than today. So, what we're going to do is first we need to start out, obviously. We're going to select a settlers camp, and I'm going to put this down roughly right here. This settlers camp, we currently cannot select a mining village or whatever, but we can select plentiful, which will give us a pretty good head start. This settlers camp right here has a couple of people as well. Kungun, Fritz, we got Katharina, we got, who else? I can't even see anybody. Hermann right there, Thomas, Peter, very, very nice. Now, let's set up our starting economy. I think we will survive here just fine, even if we entirely hunt and do berry picking. I don't think we need to push it further. I do want to restate as well, much like for our original region, I want to get rid of essentially not a single tree whenever I can. I want to make it so that we tear those down, you know, naturally, organically. I want to move in and take over whenever that is actually viable. Let's do it like this. There you go. And then we're going to connect via the hunting camp as well. We got to collect some food. After that, obviously, we also want to move on. I want to really early on, much like we did it in the other region, build a church, just because that stabilizes this region here in particular. Let's start out, obviously, by creating a logging camp. We're going to put this... It's a good question. I want to get rid of the trees that you can see right here. Oh, that looks pretty good to me. And then we're going to go with a woodcutter's lodge that goes a bit higher up. This forest right here, so this entire bit, I want to see gone. I will tear that down. Take a look at that. Yeah, this is the only, I think, elevated position here. If we actually take a look at that in person, where the hell am I? The river is down there, which means you are the forest that I was talking about. I want to secure this location with a light fortification right there. You could call it, for example, the Night's Watch, something like that. We're going to go ahead and indeed try to start tearing that down. Let me take a look at the rest of this right here, right? This is... There's at least some elevation change right here. Yeah, you can see it. Oh, it comes in waves. That is so interesting. Maybe we can build a... fields on top of these terraces. What are we looking at? I assume... Ooh, we are getting at least slightly lucky. We can have one field here. I can put another one there. And then, yeah, okay. So basically our fortification goes somewhere over there. And then we're going to have some fields. Okay, I see where we're going here, I think. And then maybe a lone farmstead somewhere over here as well with the clay deposit. I would argue that our actual town will be more focused where the trade is and, of course, where the fortification will be. Whereas these will then be outposts, where we'll start mining. That is your workplace, but you will live somewhere here. And I think this kind of terrace right here, that is perfect. That will look so good once we actually start building it. All right, and let's not forget, we also need a saw pit. I gotta make sure that we can actually work all of this in. We need to very, very quickly, as always, actually create this hitching post. So, well, upgrade this to a small stable so that I can have 2 oxen, and then we'll put down the church and see where we go from there. I think, if at all possible, we want to keep these trees just because it will obscure the view quite successfully. Can you even see it from here? What are we seeing all the way in the distance there? Is that our town? Is that just a forest? Okay, let me actually go into this direction, right? What are we seeing? Oh, we're seeing the Rundling. Oh, because of this beautiful barricade of trees, we can barely... You can see the tip of the church tower. We can barely see the city. This game is so good at just keeping you at bay, making it so that you can't always see what you've already constructed, so that it feels like you're once more in the wilderness, although, well, obviously we're not, but, it looks quite nice. I think we will also want a shrine right here. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, these buildings here are obviously not permanent. They're just going to start getting rid of the forest that stands in our way, in the way of civilization. Look at this brave ox, bringing the log that we need to build the saw pit. Oh wait, no, I think this is actually going to the logging camp right there. See, being a settler now, when we are in an adjacent region, this is so much more promising. You know that there's civilization nearby, you know you are very unlikely to starve. That was not a luxury that we had in our initial playthrough here. Anyway, let's place down a tannery as well, getting all this stuff done. You have to remember we are on challenging, which means I want to have all of this stuff at the ready so that we have 2 sources of food, so that we have pelts and then, of course, leather, and can actually sell all of that at the marketplace, keeping everybody happy. And man, it is so nice to start a new region right here, to, start from scratch, although that, of course, isn't true. I mean, we have a lot of money, we have a lot of potential, but, it is different from, this permanent urbanization that we started not too long ago. And you know what, with all this timber, I'm going to be a bit sneaky. I'm going to assign the ox right here. Do you need another? No, you're good. I think you're also good. Yep, okay. So I don't need the ox anywhere else. We can just start working here on the saw pit as intended. And that also means that I can probably staff you entirely. And then let's make sure that you are cutting down what I need you to cut down. This entire area needs to go. I need to clear it so that we have a very, very clear sight of everything that could potentially stand in our way. And you know what? Before I forget, let's place down this right there. And then place this down right here in the center. I love it. Very, very nice. Now, we could upgrade this to a worker camp. I'm not sure that I actually want to do this. I have witnessed that this kind of bugs some stuff out. I think it is also fixed in the beta right there. I'm just going to leave that as it is. The homelessness is currently our only penalty, and I'm going to keep it that way until we actually have built the church and then, start building everything else. Why is nobody bringing... Oh, I know why. I know exactly why. It's because they're currently probably building this tannery right here, which I don't care that much about. We first need to finish the small stable, okay? So get that done. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Will now also allow us to actually order another ox. And speaking of another ox, I also need to hire more over here in our main town. I think we have plenty of spaces open. Yeah, look at that. Let's just get a couple more. It can't hurt, can it? Oh, and I think we're actually done here. I don't even need this ox now assigned at this location, which means I can reassign somebody else there. Now, let's take a look at this. I would like to build a church. This kind of looks nice, right? Maybe I want to put you up the hill. Maybe this is like the perfect location. Let me take a look, right? You are a trader. You are a traveler. You see this church right there. Does it impress you? It probably does, right? Because there's this untouched nature all the way over there. You're coming out of this micro valley right here. And then behind this very small but nonetheless existing tree line, you start seeing this church. You know what? I'm going to see what this will look like. If it looks bad, over here, costs us 4 trees. You know what? I'll take this. That's okay. We can rip those out, but I'm going to place this right here. This is going to be a bit of a wood church. I hope that the effect... Yeah, I think the effect will be nice, especially once we have a field down here. I think that should work for us. And this church, of course, makes it so that we can actually have our people here, you know, keep up some happiness. All right, and now back here, you can see we still have a massive surplus of flour. I'm going to transform at least one more house, I think, into a bakery. Are you capable? No, okay, you're too small. What about you? This looks good. We don't need a goat shed. All we really care about here is that we are baking as much bread as is humanly possible. That is the only thing that matters. Oh, look at that. We have our first market stand right here. It's a food stall. That's a waste. This, you know, maybe I gotta make this market smaller so that it doesn't look that awkward. Oh, you know, I have a bad idea. I actually think I have a great idea. I'm going to take, oh my god, I have a great idea, I think. We're going to take one of our foresters, and I'm going to tell these foresters right here. Somebody told me about this in the comments, and I love this idea so much. We're going to micromanage our market. It's just that simple, okay? We're going to tell these folks to place trees in this circle and nowhere else, because then we're going to make a market square, well, a market circle, I guess, around the tree. Let's see whether we can get that done, okay? Oh, look, he's already digging. We're gonna see a tree come up here. It's gonna take some time, but it will well be worth it, I think. And there she goes up, our little church right here. I think this this is essentially as imposing as it can get. It's just not a lot of elevation to play with here. And I'm already gonna put this down just so that I don't forget. I definitely want 1 or 2 fields right here. Okay, let's check this out. What can we do here? I think a field down here would look great. Okay, this is okay. We've seen better, we've seen worse. I don't want them to be too big. This is not a farming area. Never forget that. Oh, I don't want to get rid of these trees. I like this. Oh, I hope I'm not getting rid of any of these trees, but I don't think I am. Now, this is very, very small. So I'm going to make you a bit wider, I think. I think the solution here is to go slightly wider rather than longer. I can live with 0.2 Morgan. I think that is completely acceptable. And now I would like to run a pretty long field along this green space right here. 0.4 Morgan. You know, compared to what we've done elsewhere, these are very short fields. Anyway, I think this is going to start giving this region a bit of a character. You have this church now. And from here, you can see these fields. You know, I would like maybe the farming house then to be somewhere in this area. We're going to get to that. The fields are currently just decorative. You can also see we're cutting down this forest left and right. Things are going well. And now let me think about this. We are not yet gathering any berries. I definitely need somebody in the berry hut here. I definitely need somebody in the tannery. And then I'm going to get rid of the logging camp worker, at least for just a moment, so that I can actually start building some burgage plots. And now this is the big question. I don't think we're going to put too much here, just because this looks... this is just such a rough way down, right? This is not the ideal position for another Hagen-Hufendorf, so instead, we're going to settle in a different fashion. Now, this is where the fortification goes, but this is where the fields are, so we at least want some attention. Some folks settled here directly at the fields and at the church, and you know what? I want to try something new. Let me lead in a road from over here. I'm going to connect these fields before we do anything else. Let me lead it like this. We're going to lead this around the field. There you go. And then, of course, through the field and onto the pathway. I like that. Okay. We might even do I don't know whether we need that connection. I think that's okay. Now over here, we're going to use assistance roads, and we're going to use them way more extensively than I have ever done it, okay? What we're going to do is, I am looking for relatively unique backyard shapes. That is my idea here. If I do it like this, it might be a bit too big. I gotta experiment with this. I think we can cook here. You think that's something? No, you know what? I want a different shape. Let me change this slightly. See, now the big question is, how big should the curvature be to give you the most attractive forms? I think this looks pretty good. What if I make it... Let's push it to the extremes here. Oh, that is terrible. Don't do that. We're gonna experiment with this, okay? We're gonna put it down like this. And these roads are not staying, okay? Don't worry about it. But I want to see what the backyards look like here. Let's put you right next to each other. Don't love that. I think I may need... Yeah, you know what? Let's put in another assistance road right here. Just like this. There you go. I need to see what this looks like. That is... Oh, no backyard at all? They really don't want to give this building a backyard, huh? Unless I turn it like this. Looking at the church, kind of interesting. But I think I'm going to redraw the backyard road here. Is this something? Is this anything? I need to find out. Oh, you know what? I hate that. Oh, can't we... Okay. Maybe this is something, okay? We're going to experiment with this. I'm going to put this down. We're going to see what it looks like. So what we're going for here are essentially different shapes. Normally, we build in squares. These are the fair plots. They are assigned like this. But this is kind of like a tight-knit community. Maybe it's just one family, you know, a big, big family that counts as 5 migrating here. And they may have slightly different patterns for their farmsteads here. I want to see where we end up with this. I need to see these build before we build anything else. I need to see whether these look attractive, like, at all, okay? That is a... It's a big question, but I need it answered. Right, anyway, secondarily, we're going to put down this well right there. That is completely okay. I would like another house right here. And I'm also going to place down a couple of guidance roads here. I think guidance road is the better word compared to, like, assistance road. Don't worry about the... Maybe I can cut you in like this. What does this look like? Okay, I'm gonna place you. Let's see what we're getting here, okay? You can see these round shapes. I don't like that corner, but you can see these round shapes. We gotta see what it actually looks like when we've built it here. I'm gonna keep it for the time being. I'm not sure that this looks good. I feel like this is terrible. But the rest of the shape, it looks interesting. Let's take a look at this from a distance, right? I mean, you can't really distinguish, I think. I don't think we can really tell the difference there. Oh, I like this one. You know what? I like this one. Jesus. Okay. Why don't we go ahead and take a look at what the backyards actually look like? Oh, which one would be the most interesting one? It has to be the vegetable garden, right? Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Let's put down more vegetable gardens here. I like it. You know what? When they are hand in hand here, it just makes me want to place one down right here. Although this may be too steep to look good. The backyard, most importantly, looks kind of sucky there. Why don't we try it like this? I'm not even sure that I like what I'm doing here with the elevations, but I hope you're getting where I'm coming from here, right? The way we are constructing this. And I feel like, if anything, wouldn't this look towards the road to the church? God, I hate these backyard assignments there. And I think I'm gonna I think we're gonna just pose everybody towards the direction of the fields here, right? That may take their immediate attention. I'm gonna redraw this guy. I just don't like the fence. You know what? What if I... No, okay, it doesn't change the fence. We're gonna get rid of this. And I hope that it doesn't permanently make somebody homeless here. Let's take a look at whether the fence gets corrected here. Now, I have my doubts, but I gotta hope. I gotta hope that this works out. You see them settled right here at the river. Not the way we did it in the other location, but still, you know, very much at the river. I think I'm going to lead you into the back a little bit like this here. I think what I'm learning is that you never want these kind of angles. If you get a very sharp and acute angle, it's gonna look awkward once it's actually built. So you want to maybe keep it something like this, so that you can split it much more easily without going overboard. And if nothing else, I like this one. I'm not sure how well the rest is coming out, but I do like this one right here. I think that is a good looking one right here. Alright, it is now September, which means it is harvesting season, and I want you to pay attention to all of these lines right here. They originate from all of the farmhouses that are currently staffed to any degree, and you can see now that the harvesting season has begun. Oh, I've got sabotage. Let me just set that up again. Takes a while. Alright, here we go. So what happens initially on this patch is they all go for their own fields. You can see they all go roughly to where they are assigned. These houses and these houses are assigned here. This house is assigned right there. All of these are obviously assigned up here. But then, at some certain point, and we are going to witness this in due time, I'm sure, all of these folks down here are starting to rotate up there. You see this? This is exactly what happens in this particular version. They all get confused. They go, no, wait a minute, I gotta go to these fields. Now, this is unfixable in this version. If you're having this issue, if you're not on the open beta that they got running, then you can fix this. This is just what happens. Don't worry about it too much. You're gonna have some inefficiencies no matter what you do. And look at that. I think we're actually doing great with the flower here. Anyway, my point being, this is fixed in the beta. They will all stay in their areas, only work their areas, and actually and properly harvest what needs to be harvested. Huge, huge boons right here for sure. Alright, but back to Zweier. It is also September here. We haven't really done much. It is, however, time for our very first development point. Now, obviously, this is a mining town, so this right here is what matters. And honestly, exporting charcoal sounds great to me as well. These also kind of come with the idea of a mining town, but we don't need that here. I'm not going to upgrade anybody to actually produce this stuff. I would really like to do some of this stuff just so that we can, you know, feed these folks on mostly forest management and trapping alone. But I think we're just going to fulfill these two first, just so that I don't miss anything, because the deep mining is, of course, what really gets us going. I do need to upgrade some of these houses to level 2 before long. For the time being, though, let's just, you know, give you some more plots right here, or rather give you some more locations, and let's examine, once these are built, what this looks like when we come in here. I think we need a road down here, just to connect this nicely here, you know, alongside the field, essentially. There you go. I think this is coming along. Look, I always want to be cautious with this kind of stuff, but I think I really like this more, you know, this weirder shape for this kind of stuff, for the backyards here. I think that really pans out. And then, of course, some of these also need to be upgraded to level 2, although I think we're going to plop those down right here in the fortification in due time. Once we get some actual migration. We're already up to 45%. I made people very happy. We don't currently have a farmhouse, and even if we build it now, just for the record, we're not actually going to use it. Let me just verify here. We're doing fine on fuel. We're doing great on food. The leather is coming along nicely, although you probably can do with another hunter. It's just that currently that hunter owns a family stall. Once we get some migration, obviously we're going to place down a little bit more. And like I said, a couple of the houses, and the level 2 houses in particular, are of course also gonna be there. It has to be said, currently, we haven't even started mining yet, okay? That is just the tradition. Oh, I think this is... Man, they were talking about this, they were showing off a screenshot, and I was like, my god, your back gardens, and I don't love this, but it's acceptable. Your back gardens look so good. I just look at that. They do look good. They look really good. Yeah, big fan, I think. I might even change a couple of the buildings that we did earlier. Let's just take a look at this right here, right? I think if this was less square and actually, you know, a better and a more interesting shape, thanks to these guidance roads, I think we would have a much better look there. Yeah, this honestly, now that I see the comparison, this looks terrible in comparison. My god. This is well right here. I think we have a lot to catch up on there. Hello, my friends. I am a simple trader passing through. Take a look at that here. What does this kind of shape look like from the ground? I think it looks fine. Shouldn't you have a vegetable garden? Is that all the way over there? Oh god. There's so much unused space here. If you made this wider, it wouldn't hurt either. I think having a wider back looks generally better than this kind of clamp back that I did right here. What do you look like? And by the way, my apologies for turning the camera a bit too fast. I do completely understand that if you are somebody that is prone to motion sickness, that is going to make things significantly worse for you. It's a bit of a weird movement right there. Oh, but I love the church. Yes, I like this. This is really good. I do need to kind of come up with an idea where we put the central location here. But I reckon what I'm actually going to do is, I currently have a stand-in market that is all the way over there. What I will be doing, I think, is... I will cheese the wall of our fortification so that I can build in it before we build that wall. And then on the inside, we will have the market. Just so that... because, you know, right now, when we take a look at this right here, I just placed it over there in the middle of nowhere. It's not actually a town central. I mean, this isn't really a town. This very much is a lone farmstead thing. I would almost call it a church settlement. Because they're so, you know, just in the adjacency of the church. Although none of them, of course, are actually bordering it. Oh, this looks nice. Yeah. Yeah. Again, huge shout out to the Discord user that has enlightened me on the shape of these houses. That looks so good. I will correct this eventually, but I already invested the money in the vegetables, so you know what? Not right now. We're gonna do it eventually, okay? No, you know what? This is irking me too much. I think I gotta kick you out right now. I'm gonna redo this. Just does not look great. Oh, and there you go. We already have our first migrant. Very, very nice. Let's keep this up. We are truly doing God's work here. Now, as for the farmhouse, and like I said, we're not going to use it right away. Where do we place this farmhouse? It might make sense here, but it might also just make this area a bit too busy. I like the way this currently looks. If we place this down here, I mean, I don't know. It's so nice to have this at the river. I think this would be a net positive right there. But I kind of also like this idea of having it right over here. Because this would also then potentially justify a couple more houses right over there, right? In general, we are following the King's Road. That is the whole purpose of this village. We are building along the King's Road, so it's a variant of the Straßendorf, I guess. Do we have any other fertility here that matters? Not really. We could do some barley, but I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The emmer here, I think, is going to be the most important one, which makes me believe maybe I'm going to actually place you up here. I don't think we will have more than one farmhouse. Then again, you know what? No, I'm wrong. I think I'm going to have two farmhouses. I'm going to place one right here. I think literally just for aesthetics. This farmhouse dominates the view. Just like God intended. Let me try out a new thing here as well. I want a relatively sharp corner here. And then we go into an even wider thing. And this is all just one house. But I'm going to turn this into one big farmstead. My hope here is that this kind of deviation can still make it look good. You know, that this looks somewhat unique at the very least. It's directly here at the King's Road. And then maybe we're going to mirror this with some type of house over here. Although probably a bit smaller. Let's build it. Screw it. Let's find out what this looks like. Now, what are we looking like up here? Okay, what I'm going to do. This is one of the very few times where we're doing this. I'm going to get rid of these trees. We are looks maxing here, okay? I'm going to figure out exactly what the meta is, what we can get done and what doesn't work. Do we want 2 trees here? I'm going to try it with just 1 tree, okay? We're gonna start out with this. Boom, there you go. Get rid of that tree. And then we're going to draw more market stalls. Oh, it doesn't really... I think I need to make it slightly bigger here, huh? What if I... Can I just... Does it just work if I just do this? No, not really, huh? Oh, I think I figured it out. I think one axis, you always want to run through the tree. Now, the big question for me here is, right, what orientation will these market stalls have? I think these will be... I don't think these will be facing away from the tree, which is the goal. I just got to figure out. So that would mean maybe if I do it like this, we get the right orientation. Let's build this. Let's find out what this market square will actually look like, or this market stall. And then we will know the order of operation of how I will have to build these type of stalls. This will be really, really weird because these will all be individual markets if we actually do this, but they will essentially be around this tree. Oh, look at that. Okay. I don't like that you're so close that it actually goes through you, but I think I am onto something here. Let me put this down. This looks stupid. You're not allowed to blame me. I'm just taking advice from other people, which may make me stupid as well, but you know what? Why are you insulting me randomly here, huh? What's going on? Okay, maybe this will actually look awful because I built them as erratically as I did. I can't get the snapping to really play nice. Let's see what it looks like once they place all the market squares. Okay, I think we might be seeing this only in the next video. That's completely acceptable. Right, and this farmstead has come along nicely. Yeah, I don't want to make it too busy. I think having these just be one big yard each Makes a lot of sense to me. Coming from right here, you see them. I think the best view is still very much from the church. When you look down there, yeah, that looks nice. We are seeing more and more migration because we have very happy people here. And that is always very nice to see. I think once we get... Obviously, we're just waiting basically for the migration waves, right? So that I unlock more people that can work somewhere so that I can start mining right here. And then we also need to start trading. I don't want to build too much here. I want this to keep... I want to keep this very light, right? I want this farming settlement. I want some mining. I want the fortification. And maybe some farming up there as well. It's roughly up there, right? Yeah, over there, over there. I think some farming would definitely look nice. But no more. I think that is how far we're going to go here. I might even actually go ahead and try to place a couple of these farms down already. No, you know what? I think the only farms that I'm going to pre-place are these right here. The farms next to the... next to what we had right there, the... whatchamacallit? Next to the clay stuff, I'm going to do that when we actually start, you know, with the clay stuff. These farms right here just make sense, though. I think we can place them as they are. I wish we could see farms on the map as well, what it's worth. This is just... looks so empty, right? But it's not actually empty at all. There's a lot going on there. It has a very rich inner life. See, this actually looks kind of good, except... these are pointing inwards. I gotta correct these, I think. Alright, let me finish this maybe over here. There we go. I think that's probably gonna look good. I would also like one in the backyard here. We're gonna do some guidance roads here as well. The idea with this one for me is that maybe there's some fertile land in here in the back, right? Maybe they got to claim it fairly early on. And all of a sudden you get another thing coming right there. I don't want to place down too many buildings here. Maybe here at the very entrance area. I know that this is also very fertile land, but I like the idea of having at least one farmstead like somewhere over here. You know, I'm being too monotonous here, I feel, with the actual shapes. Let me do something crazy. I don't know. Let's go insane. All right, here's how we're going to do this, right? Boom. I like it. Keep it that way. Yes, very nice. What about you? Can we just fit you in there? Are you going to get a backyard? You're going to get nothing, huh? Completely useless. I could build you along the road, but... okay, let's be honest. That always looks kind of awkward. Let me redo this. All right, before we call it here today, let's just take one more good look at this. We already have the shrine right there. We got a small trader coming by. Don't worry about it. We haven't even set up the industry yet. But I really like the way this came along. And this is only the prototype. What we are going to pull off in Waldbrand is something that we haven't done at all so far. Something that, of course, also existed. We are essentially building a Straßendorf right here, except I'm really spacing them out. I'm really giving them custom designs when it comes to their backyard improvements, and I like the way this comes out. This is the way it basically feels when you are in eastern Bavaria, be it in Franconia or be it in Bavaria proper, and in southern Saxony as well, all the way over to... Czechia, you know, to Bohemia. These kind of villages there exist quite a bit. I also now place down some blueprints over here. You can see it right there. They go, you know, they essentially follow the trees. This is why I like this tree line policy. I am really looking forward to those being built, but obviously that is going to take some time. When you come in here, you can see all of these farms, but nature is very much untamed. Zweiau is coming along nicely. Next time, we are going to take a look at these industries here, of course, and most importantly, in my opinion, the fortification is going to see an existence. I haven't built a fortification where we abuse fences at all in this playthrough. I really held back here, but I think the time is nigh. We are going to do the worst thing possible, at least in the eyes of the developer. We are going to see what we can create in terms of a fortification that can oversee this trade route and, of course, our local village right here. You can see that this deforestation here is going very well. We're having a great time. Anyway, I will leave you right here. Zweiau is on its way to glory, and I will see you later, alligator.